Hi, I'm Seth, and in today's video we're going to do a very popular Willys Jeep mod, which is to change from the factory hydraulic brake switch to a mechanical brake switch. If you have an old Jeep, you probably already know that these little hydraulic switches that go on the front of the master cylinder are very prone to failure or sticking or leaking. So one of the most common upgrades that I like to do to all of my Jeeps is to switch to these mechanical brake switches. So this actually uses, the mechanical movement of the brake pedal to actuate the switch. These original switches will often work for decades and then suddenly start leaking or just stop working altogether. The problem arises when you go to change them. You have to remove this or unthread it. It's a tapered pipe thread. You have to unthread it from the front of the master cylinder, which can introduce air into the system, make a mess, and it's kind of just a general pain overall. By eliminating that altogether and switching to a mechanical switch, if this one does fail, you don't have to open up the brake system. It's just two little screws, unhook the wires, and put a new one in. From my experience, these are much more reliable than these. This is a super simple job. Once you have your switch in hand, all you're going to need is a drill, a ratchet or impact gun with a 7/16 socket, a screwdriver, Sharpie, some drill bits, and anytime you're working underneath your Jeep, you're going to want some eye protection. So let's talk about where the switch lives. So I'm underneath the Jeep, right where your feet would be as the driver. And you can see the master cylinder is right here. You have your front and rear brake lines. The troublesome little hydraulic pressure switch. If you notice, there are two wires coming off the front of that. Those are the ones we're going to be dealing with today. Before you start working on this project, I'd recommend disconnecting the battery because these wires are hot even when the key is off. I'm also going to take a moment with a rag and wipe up some of this grease because I've only been down here for 10 seconds and I'm already covered in it. I'm just going to come up here in the engine bay and disconnect the battery. Just make sure the terminal is tucked out of the way and can't make contact, so now we know it's safe to work on the Jeep. Most of the work is going to be done right here through the master cylinder access cover. First thing I'm going to do is come underneath the Jeep and just remove these two wires. There's a few different styles of terminals. You might have a male or female end or a loop with a screw depending on which switch is installed and if anyone's changed anything over the years. But the orientation of these wires doesn't matter. You're just opening and closing a circuit, so you really can't get this wrong. For the next step, we're going to come inside the Jeep and remove the master cylinder access cover. Looking through this hole, we see everything we're going to need. So right there is the brake arm. And you can see when you apply the brakes, the arm moves, and this is a perfect spot for our new switch. Since this cover only goes on one way, before you take it off or when you have it just held up with the holes lined up like I have it here, just take your Sharpie and mark kind of the top edge. So I'm pretty much centered and that's pointing exactly up. So that kind of gives you a reference point, and this doesn't have to be completely exact. So now that I have a top, so this is how it would sit in the Jeep, and there's my arrow facing up. I'm just going to take a tape measure, and I'm going to mark 2 1/8 down, and then from the side over here, 2 5/8, and that gives me the center line for my switch. So this is the basic position that's worked well for the swaps I've done, but considering every brake system is a little bit different and everyone's tubs are mounted a little bit differently, I would recommend holding the switch up from the bottom and have someone push the brake down. So in the, and be looking at the back side of it from underneath. So when you're not on the brake pedal, the spring, return spring on the brake system will hold this lever up, and then when you depress the brake, you're going to hear a click. So what you want to do is make sure that when you're not on the brakes, it's beyond the click, and that as soon as you push the brake pedal, you'll hear or feel the click, and that means the lights are on. You can try these measurements, but I would definitely recommend holding your switch in place, have someone push the brake pedal, or just look at it. So I can hear the click right here. Right there. So that means my brake pedal needs to hold the switch in at least this position, otherwise the brakes will be on, or the brake lights will be on all the time. Once you've confirmed that your switch is in the right location, just use your lines that we made earlier. This doesn't have to be super precise, and then just take the screws out of the switch and mark them with your Sharpie so we know where to drill. I like to put a little X just so I can't possibly mess it up. I brought my cover over to the bench, and I'm just going to drill 2 holes where our marks are. These are 1032 machine screws, so just make sure your bit is large enough to clear them with a little bit of wiggle room in case you have to move it a little bit and you don't want to have to fight to get the screws in. A 3/16 hole will clear the screws, but I like 7/32 just to give me a little bit of wiggle room. Then I take a countersink bit and just get rid of the little sharp burrs that creates. And that's it. Now we're looking at the back side of the cover, and your switch is going to go just like this. And when the brake pedal's not depressed, it'll be in this position, and you hear that click, the lights are coming on, so just like that. Flip it over, line up your holes. Your kit comes with the screws that you need. Tighten the screws. And that's it. Our switch is now mounted, hopefully in the right position. And now we'll work on the wiring side of things. Another way you can test to see if your switch is in the right place. So the only critical thing here, like I mentioned, was that it's turning off and on as you move the brake pedal. So you can mount the switch to your cover, make sure the lever's behind the brake arm, and then just push it down, and you'll be able to hear a click as you rock the panel. It's going to let you know how close you are. And in this instance, my arm is a little too far away from the tub, so it's kind of right on the edge. And you don't want that because the spring on the back of the pedal can kind of hold the pedal out just a little bit, so you don't want to be right on the edge to where your brake lights would be on just because the pedal hasn't returned all the way up. So you want to make sure the switch is well beyond the click when you're off the brake pedal. A lot of videos like this, you'll see them just be like, oh, there, see, it's perfect on the first try. So I want to include any struggles you might have, just as I am in this installation. It's not that there's anything wrong with the switch or my Jeep, but it's just over the decades, these Jeeps, everything's just a little bit different. And when you're dealing with that much travel, it has to be right on. So if you notice in the listing of this switch, it'll say you can bend the rod or the arm as needed, and that is true. You can bend it this way. So you'll see it's like a flat piece of stamped metal. I would not recommend trying to bend it this way, kind of with the plate. So what that'll do is end up buckling this, breaking it, or breaking the switch. So it's easy to bend this way, not this way. So we have a couple of different options. You can move the switch on the plate. So if by bringing the switch down a little bit alleviates the problem, depending on how your arm is mounted or angled. Mine is pretty much parallel all the way down. So moving the switch up and down isn't going to help. And you'll notice there is a little bend in the arm. So moving it left and right could change it. So if it's hitting way out here versus over here, but you're only going to have a little bit of adjustment there. So that's why I just kind of mount mine in the same spot every time using those measurements I gave you earlier. Then we can make adjustments as needed. Generally, if you have an issue, it's going to be that when your switch is here and the arm is here, it's not going back far enough. And that's actually the easiest fix because it's harder to move the switch away from the arm. It's a lot easier to move it closer. So you could put some sort of shim behind here, which is what we're going to do. If it's just a little bit, you could just make it out of rubber or a piece of sheet metal or a hunk of wood, whatever you want. You could even put some washers behind here. So I'm going to make a little shim for that, and that's going to give my arm a little bit of extra wiggle room beyond the trigger area of the switch. Here's how I increased the standoff on my switch. So I took a 1/4 inch thick piece of, it's a really hard kind of plasticky rubber, and just drilled it for the screws. You can go about a 1/4 inch before you would need new screws. These just come through about flush with the mounting plate. So that gave me the distance I needed to push this down a little bit more, so the switch is right in the sweet spot. So now all that's left is to get the wiring done and then install the switch. Depending on which harness you have, you may have different connectors. There's a few different styles of switches. This one uses the little clips. This is a male bullet connector. There's also female bullet connectors on the switch. So whatever harness you have or whatever has been done to it, you'll have to put ends on your wires to fit this style terminal. My wires were a little short, so I'm going to extend them anyhow, and then I just put these female bullet connectors on the end of the wires. I'm going to add about 8 inches of wire so that I have plenty of room to come up to the switch. So here's what it looks like with my wire extensions. You just really want to make sure you leave yourself enough wire to go around the steering column and up against the frame, and so that it's never in contact with the brake pedal, because you don't want your wires getting pinched or rubbing through. Same way with the clutch side. So just make sure you have enough wire that you can easily pull it inside on the floor to connect the switch. Now, one thing I highly recommend you do before you bolt this all back together is just I'm just going to lightly push those on there for now. Now I'm going to connect the battery and then make sure that everything functions as it should, because it's a lot easier to work with out here than once you put it in and to have to reach up in there and change any wiring or routing or anything like that. I'm going to reconnect my battery and then check for brake light operation. So now remember, this is on, so those wires are hot. All right, well that's a good sign, because remember, with that switch open, that arm is all the way out, which would make the brake lights come on, and then when you push it past that click, it should go out. This will also give you a good idea of where in the travel the lights actually go out. So that's with the arm pushed in and release. Push in, release. Everything looks good. So now I know everything works. I'm gonna push my connectors on all the way, and I'm going to make sure my wires stay out of the way, push the switch in, make sure it's behind the arm, and now I'll start putting a few bolts back in. I'll probably just put 2 in, and then depress the brake pedal and make sure it works once it's all together. Now's a great time to check your brake fluid while this cover was off. So get in there. If your Jeep's been sitting all winter, you want to make sure you didn't lose any fluid. Also a good time to flush it if you've got some old fluid in there. It's kind of a pain, so the cover's already off. You might as well do it. The cover's in, so now theoretically the lights should be off. And they are. That's a good sign. The final test is to just push down on the brake pedal and make sure the lights are coming on, and also, just as important, that when you release it, the lights go out without you having to pull up on the pedal. So if that happens, just a normal press and release, on, off, you're good to go. The nice thing about this switch is you can set it wherever you want. So now, just with a little bit of pressure, the light comes on. Because you'll notice with some of those pressure switches, some of them you have to push the pedal really hard, and if you have disc brakes, a normal slow speed stop might not even make enough pressure to turn the light on. So that means you're slowing down and stopping without the person behind you knowing. The switch is installed. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but it's that little silver arm behind the brake pedal. So that's what it looks like installed. It's a little hard to see, but up there you can see the silver switch with the little blue plugs. As long as your old switch isn't leaking, it's totally fine to just leave it in place exactly as it was. That's it, and now you have a much easier to maintain, more reliable brake switch, and the only visible indicator that this mod has been done is that you now have 2 screws on your master cylinder cover, and you can hit them with paint and they pretty much will disappear. That is it. This is one of the most affordable, easy to do mods, and it really makes your Jeep safer and just easier to work on. I'll have the product links to the switch in the description below. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.